Welcome to the Sight Shift Podcast. We love helping leaders lead for impact, not validation. Hi, my name is Chris McAlister. From scrappy startups to $50 billion companies and everything in between, we help you navigate the challenges of leadership and the challenges of our day to find the way forward. For the next series in this podcast, we're going to be looking at what it means to bring the full impact of the human to bear on this most radical technology called AI, or artificial intelligence. I look forward to hearing from you and what you learn from this series. You can always find more at SightShift, S-I-G-H-T, shift.com. Peace.
Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to the Sight Shift Podcast for another episode. He's Chris. I'm Mark. We got our Sight Shift swag mugs, knee deep, midway through this book, The 3% Shift, The Human Edge in the Age of AI. If you don't have your copy, you're missing out. Amazon or 3percentshift.com. All characters, no numbers, no what is like special characters, no percentage
just
signs.
Write
It's
it out.
Words.
Just write it out.
3percentshift.com. Follow along, get a copy. We're midway through. Last episode, we took
I'll say real quick, I record the audiobook this week.
Oh, sweet.
Tomorrow. So we'll get word out when it gets released.
Yeah, cool. So that's coming. Last episode, we took a bit of a detour down a double-click listener question path. This episode, we're going to re-engage with the content. So far, we've talked about two of the three pillars. We've talked about the imagine pillar. We've talked about the discern pillar in the model, and today we're going to double-click into the third pillar of the model. The simple way to understand what is really the human edge in the age of AI, when AI continues to blow our brains.
Unless they're experiencing what we're experiencing, they have no idea.
That's true.
I mean, we'll keep saying it, but like
That's
I think it's
true.
worth keep saying because
Yes.
literally I was speaking to a room. Can I have 30
Yeah,
seconds on this?
please. Thank you. You're reminding me. Thank you.
Yeah, so I was speaking to a room of business owners last week on AI, and while speaking, I got done, and there's conversation questions, and somebody was like, "Yeah, but it's like." It's kind of stupid, and they were talking about their experience with it. And thankfully there was somebody in the room who's had a lot of advanced experience with it also. There's a few people, but like there were 3 or 4 of us that were really, really on the edge. And he was like, and he does, he can do big technical engagements for companies, large strategic initiatives they have, serious technical chops. He was like, no, it's a coming tsunami. And you're not ready. And I was like, oh, thank goodness someone else.
It's not just me.
But there was so what we're talking about. The wave hasn't hit the shore yet.
Yeah,
it's coming, and yeah. So I just thought good to remind people of that idea.
Yeah, you're taking me back to just how quickly this has changed.
Yeah.
And even how good it was before.
Yeah.
So sometime November-ish last year, less than a year ago from when we're recording this episode, only a couple months before the big jump forward happened in late January, early February, I was doing some PT for a torn Achilles. And I wanted to transition from the PT clinic to doing it myself from home. And so I just went to ChatGPT and said, give me a good regimen for what I want to accomplish, where I am in my recovery. Here's how here's how the recovery has gone. I just put in the information. It gave me a pretty good output. And some of the things I was already doing at the PT clinic, and some were like, oh yeah, I can do that. I understand how to do that. But I wanted to take it to the physical therapist and get him to adjust it, tweak it, like give it a blessing, so to speak. He was maybe a year out of college, and did me right, but he was very by the book, because he just hadn't had enough experience yet, hadn't had enough reps yet. But I wanted to hit his eyes on it. because this is before the AI that we're working with. And so I give him this piece of paper and I'm like, hey, can you just take a look at this as I transition from here to home? Just make sure I'm not missing anything or what you would change. And he's looking at it and he looks up at me and he's reading it and he looks up at me again and looks at it again. He's like, where did you get this? Because this is really good. And I'm like, well, I just had ChatGPT build it for me. He's like, really? This is like, there's a number of paths that you could take to get where you want to go. But if you do all this, like, this is great. AI did that for you. And this was back in November.
Yeah.
So those that are following along know what happened in late January, early February, when the ceiling was lifted on what AI is capable of doing. And I had just this difficult moment, kind of like the episode that we recorded last time, this difficult moment of like, oh, you have no idea.
Yeah.
This is coming for the work that you're doing. If you don't know and you can't get ahead of it, it's gonna leg sweep you.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't have that conversation with him.
Sure.
It was just like, oh, the old guy got some validation, giving the young guy some workout routines. Anyway, that wasn't even in my notes, but
It's real.
It's real.
30 seconds yesterday. So, we use Claude and have a very advanced agent that I've built that is amazing. And I just went into the chat thing because I was like, I don't want to get all the agents spun up on this.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, find me this. No. And I was like, don't tell me what you won't do. We told that story earlier, a different thing. It's in the book. And so Mark had told me, tell it can't do that. So I was like, no, you can't do that. Go do it. No, I'm not going to do that. So then I flipped over to my agent. I was like, hey, go find this. Came back 3 minutes later. Here you go.
Interesting.
So, I mean, like that to me is like,
even just the different ways that
same
you can
company
engage with the same tool.
Yeah, same company, same code, whatever. Yeah. But like the agent is on its own. Like it's its own thing. It has built things for me that Claude hadn't put out yet.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It is interesting to read what we're already doing in a announcement, a version release. Anyway, we're going down a bit of a hole.
But it paints this picture that like until you're being shocked, you're not at the edge.
Yeah. So we're talking about how the human can be at their edge, even as the tool is pushing us. And this third pillar is really around the whole point. I was in conversation with somebody just last week about how we think about the framework, the developing individuals, developing leaders. The whole point is this third pillar of the model. There's different ways that we describe it, but the whole point is around deepening relationships, building, attracting healthy community. And the first two models are a path to get there, or not models. The first two pillars are a path to get there. But the whole point is to be in human relationship. And you were with humans last week on the business front. I was with humans last week on the personal front. Both of us were using AI to be able to facilitate being in the room with the humans that we want to be in the room with. Because we have an eye toward this thing that really only the human can do, which is build relationships. That's the third pillar of what the book talks about. So I wanted to begin with the story that you tell about the team meeting that we had, the quarterly team meeting that we had a while back, where AI trained to give you feedback, gave you some feedback that you had to discern was not consistent with your read, with the human intuition. So tell that story.
Yeah. Well, and I think the context that would be helpful is, so I have critiques that are built around like archetypes for any function I'm performing. So if I'm speaking, we have an archetype for that. If I'm coaching, we have an archetype for that. If I'm leading our organizational meetings, or just in the organizational meetings as you lead them too, I have an archetype for that. So it critiques along that archetype, and it's not a like pass fail 0 to 10. It's a scoring system that can never be perfectly mastered. So it's like you can always get better. And it's really profound. Like, yes, it's a mirror of me, but where it's built itself into, it it's changed. It's changed me in the best way. Like, I just move slower through the right moments, and I ask better questions, and I'm seeing that show up personally also. So I place a lot of value in it, and I don't outright reject it because it's not sycophantic for sure, and it's not just also negative and just destructive. It is very harsh, though.
It can be savage.
Yeah, it's very harsh, and I want that. I want that, and so
you've calibrated it and tuned it.
Yes.
To your best learning approach and learning style. True?
Yeah, it's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, it's highlighting what I did well. It's saying this is where you could have done better, and this is how you could have done it better. If you don't hear any of this, here's the 10% that would improve it. And it stays with me now, and it's shaping my behavior. And so we had a moment as a team where we were just facing a challenge that I shared vulnerably around, and I was like, this is a real moment, and it's a hard, bad thing, and this is how I'm experiencing that. And me sharing my vulnerability, I think, it wasn't like a breakdown. It was a planned moment. Like, I'm going to share this, and I want to share this. Facilitated a moment for the three of us at the leadership team level to just be like, let's re-engage emotionally the mission. Let's recommit. And as I had heard from you and Brett, like that was the moment that set the emotional tone for our day. And yet my AI agent critiqued me and said that was too much for the team. You shouldn't put that on them. You were too vulnerable, and this is why that's not good, and this is the cost from that. And truly, out of, I'm going to try to be accurate here, best I can be. 4 months, 16 weeks, probably somewhere around 190 to 210 critiques at this point in. And to have them all be really, really good. Like, where could I go get this from another person? It would be very difficult. Unless someone was sitting in the room with me just with one job watching me.
Yep.
And so probably at that point it was about 190 to 210 critiques, and never one issue. And this one issue, I was like, it's wrong. It's not correct. It's wrong on that. And I know that intuitively. Why? Because my motive was pure. It wasn't to get, it wasn't sharing that as a bid for sympathy or attention or to redirect away from something else to something else. My motive was pure. It was a right motive. I want us to square up with this. My action was correct based on my IFQ data. I want to rush past some things that would feel like a painful looking in the mirror, squaring up with a circumstance I'd rather get to the future on.
Yep.
So it's the right motive and it's the right action. Even if you guys would have rejected the moment, that matters to me. But and not that you're the crowd in this sense, you're the trusted advisors, but the crowd can love you and hate you. So for me, regardless of the reception of it, it was the right move. With the reception of it, it even more affirmed that it was the right move. And it was wrong. It was wrong. And I have to have the imagination for what the space can be like and the discernment, the reps in on, even the way that I talk about emotions as a bid for sympathy and trying to redirect. Only people that have paid attention to insecure leadership moments would even know how to recognize any of the verbiage that I'm describing that with. But those that have, they'll go, oh, that's discerning. That's somebody who's had a lot of reps, right? Which gets to the pillar we're here today. So it builds the relationship.
Yeah.
It builds the relationship.
I'm curious in a brief answer. If Claire,
Yeah.
your agent
Brett
has a name.
named it Claire.
Yeah. If your agent had the knowledge and the understanding of myself and the other leader, Brett, around the table, as it did of you, I wonder if it still would have given you that critique.
Yeah.
Because it felt like you were too exposed.
Yeah.
Or if it would have recognized, oh, Mark and Brett are able to carry that. You've helped us. We've developed enough to be able to carry that. I'm
It
curious.
would not critique that now.
Yeah.
Because it has gotten smarter on me, on systems, on data, on the people. And that's what, that's what today we'll get into. I mean, when I read my daily briefing today, it remembers things we talked about 3 months ago. It's like, you haven't resolved that yet. And I'm like, well, it's resolved itself, but it doesn't forget.
It doesn't forget.
Yeah, it doesn't forget.
So a lot of what you draw out comes from your deep understanding of Greek. Not just the language, but the philosophy, the way the thinkers were thinking, what they were able to wrestle through. As with the other two pillars, there is a Greek foundation here, and I'd love for you to just teach that out for a little bit.
Yeah, so the word here for the model, we started with Gnosko, to phronesis, discerning the wisdom, to koinonia, community, common unity. So the idea here is, bad leaders don't appreciate alignment. Good leaders go for uniformity, but the great leaders go to hard fought for unity. They know that we need the differences. We need the wrestling. We need the context of a growing, developing relationship. And so I was trying to find a word that would say this, because the AI doesn't forget.
Yeah.
And the AI is going to be so good for most people's experience 2 years from now. They'll be like, oh, it remembers and it coaches and it, but it can't sit across from another human and receive a secret and show love. It can't forgive. The way I think about it is it's the death and resurrection that goes through relationships. I mean, we may not gravitate towards these terms naturally, but the best leaders in a long-term marriage, in a long-term family, in a team environment, understand the fabric of relationships. They have to reconstitute every so often. They have to reform. We're 2 weeks into a empty nest experience in our home, so my wife and I, our relationship is reconstituting in that new reality. And I have an awareness of that. And I'm looking for what are the things that need to be encouraged and built and developed and cut out. And, the way we existed the last couple of years launching kids out, that had its own constitution, but now it's reconstituting. And so the AI will have all the knowledge on this, but it's another human sitting at the dinner table when it's just me and my wife eating dinner, just us for the first time ever, right? And the same is true for a team. There are teams, there are leaders listening to this right now that don't understand their team is well overdue for a reconstitution. There's a death and resurrection that needs to occur in that team setting, and they're living in yesterday's reality, and the AI will have all the information. And eventually, once you get, let's say, 50 recorded team meetings uploaded into whatever your AI agent is, it's going to have the knowledge. Who's doing what? When are they doing it? Who's responsible for what? But how do you really stop and ask that question? How do you really draw out that moment that if the AI were running the meeting, it would just blow right past? That's the human difference.
Yeah. And that's what we've been talking about through the series. That's the harder part too.
Yeah.
And I've been using this framing in another context, but there is an attractiveness to the artificial,
Yeah.
the quicker. We could use not to impugn a whole industry, but we could use the fast food industry. There's a convenience there. It's quicker, but there's a difference between nutrient dense, whole foods, farm to table, freshly prepared, and fast food. And what AI is going to make so much more attractive is the fast food option.
It's a great way to apply it.
Because you can just rush right to solutions. You don't have to sit in those moments. It resolves immediately. The speed of light in effect.
Yeah.
So it's going to be harder, and yet I think at the same time it's also going to be sweeter, better, more attractive to fight for the work between humans to stay in it.
Yeah.
And benefit from the rewards of the true human to human interaction.
Yeah. Well, and if I pushed on that analogy some, as far as like applying it out, I would say most leadership cultures, teams, families, doesn't matter, marriages, most cultures, they're made up of a lot of moments of like avoiding having the hard conversation about the kind of food we should eat. Mm-hmm. If we kept this analogy going, there's a lot of avoiding the hard conversation to do the meal planning or whatever. And then there's a few moments of winging it where a leader is just fast and quick on their feet and tends to be senior leaders wing the most important moments.
And probably have had a bunch of success along the way doing that.
They're better at winging it because they've got reps than the average person who's avoiding. Mm-hmm. And so to use this fast food analogy, the AI is going to serve up fast food for them that is going to feel great and better than they've ever had at, oh, here's my 3 points before I go in the leadership meeting, before I go in the sales meeting, before I go to the all-staff presentation. You know, it's gonna rip out something for them to wing it with that is better than what they've ever done before. Mm-hmm. But it's not somebody really dedicating themselves to be world-class at what does it mean to actually build the humans in this moment. Mm-hmm. So I like that. That's a great analogy, and it's going to happen for sure. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Take us back to koinonia, common unity, and just double click a little bit on what's underneath that. And again, why?
Yeah. I mean, you know, if I had, like, if everybody listening to this for the why, if everybody listening to this said, Chris, we're going to give you 15 minutes. We're going to give you an hour. We're going to give you 5 hours. I don't care how long they're going to give me. I'm going to take them as far as I have time for on this idea. You have to, in leadership, pause the mental mechanism that kicks in when you're under pressure and insecure, because it causes you to make sense of reality. When you feel threatened, you're trying to either get validated or avoid invalidation. Mm-hmm. So that's everything. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the point? The why? When you get clear in your mind on that, and you start imagining a different possibility, and you stop pulling for the first move, getting validation or avoiding invalidation, you can actually build relationship. A free mind builds people. It just got cloudy, and that's...
We're still here.
We're going to have a drinking game on that. Mark was like, we needed the light before, and I was like, no, I don't even see any clouds. Boom. Second time wrong. We got a teaching moment here. So for those listening, when the clouds pass over, it gets a little dark. Anyway, so the idea here is, you know, the whole point of this is that your mind is clear and free so that you can take the action, the discernment that done well builds relationship. Like, that's the whole point. And so what a lot of people don't understand is this isn't just like, oh, you know, you're on your deathbed and you're not going to lay there and go, I should have spent more time at the office. Unless you're Alec Baldwin on 30 Rock, and he did that, and it was awesome, and I loved it, and it was hilarious. He thought he was dying. He was like, I should have spent more time at the office. But like the quality, the richness of your life is determined by the quality and richness of your relationships. If your relationships are great, you feel like life is great. Well, there's a path to get there. And it's not luck, and it's not chance. It is because there is a person, and it only takes one to kick off a movement, who is not leading for their own validation or avoiding invalidation. They're leading for impact. And they're making that wise move, and the result of it is a building of relationship. Whether it's the starting of a relationship, the deepening of a relationship, and everything in between. And so the Greek concept here is what we share in common. It's a common unity. And there are people that would listen to this and go, oh, I bet Chris is a DSA member, Democratic Socialists of America. And it's like, well, no, because they're idiots. Because they try to start at the end. Also, too, what is terrible are people who are just like, I'm going to get mine, forget everyone else. It starts with a secure person who gets free in their mind, secure in their identity. They're discerning. Now they have something they build. And we're not just building a company, we're building relationships. That is everything. And it's, the thing I like to say is they figured this out. Like Greeks wrestled with this. We see this for our personal point of inspiration blown out in a big way in the New Testament. Like, how did a group of backwater oppressed people out of Palestine up in the most powerful empire at that time? Because they did. Through koinonia. But they didn't start there. They started with Gnosko. It led to phronesis, which resulted in the koinonia. But that's how they did it. It was their commitment to each other, because they weren't leading out of fear when they felt threatened or insecure. The whole world changed. And now we measure time by it.
Yeah. And 2,000 years later.
Yeah.
We're still talking about it.
Yeah.
Still changed by it.
The thing that I love to say is none of the books I write, none of the talks I give, it's not a discovery of something new. It's a rediscovery of what's true. And that's what's true. That the end game is always transform relationships. Your solution is partial and incomplete if it's not leading to relationships being transformed. So that's why the person that is obsessed with technological advancements just for the sake of technological advancements, they're not the right person to be making big decisions, because they're not thinking through, how does this end in relationship? We want to be the most AI-enabled version of ourselves, but we're guided by this model. We're imagining what isn't there. We're making discerning, wise choices, not perfect choices. We make them right more than we make the right decision. And we're thinking through it in terms of this lens and filter of how does it end in relationship being better. And there's not going to be an AI company anywhere that's going to think through or come up with a better model than this, because this is ancient and timeless. And they're not going to protect us in society because they make their AI more woke or less woke. All the things they're going to fight about are stupid. And it's all going to be ideological tuning in their models that are going to be their bias that they put into it. So that's big.
It's big. Well, there's so many big ideas in what we're talking about. The one, another one that I want to just pause on for a moment is, we've mentioned it before. AI doesn't forget. AI is just going to record it and store it. That's what a database is for, to hold information and not forget it. But you contrast the not forgetting with the inability to forgive. And the process of forgiving, of working through, wrestling, it's like earning the rewards and the joy of the relationship rather than just hitting the drive-through, at the fast food place. I think that's an interesting contrast, and just spend a minute teaching on that too.
Yeah. Well, and before I teach on it, I'd like to say this is why it's going to be so hard first. So I did a thing with my agent this weekend. I was like, hey, you've grown from 0 to what we have now. What were the main things I taught you that helped you the most? And it shot back like 8 things. They were really great. Like, yeah, that's me totally. That's me growing a leader from 0, nothing to something. And then I said, okay, well, tell me the top 3 things I can do to lead you better. Mark, it was freaking great. I was like, yeah. I ask people all the time, how can I lead you better? It's the probably best I've ever had a reply. So this is the argument I'm making in the book. Like, once you get to the edge and you get something that is very developed, it is going to be better than most people you've ever had work for you. So, like, it's going to be difficult. Why would you want to have someone you have to go lead through all this mess with? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Why?
And so this is what I mean by, like, well, it's worth it when the work matters. And all the stuff you do at a computer is going to go away because it doesn't matter. It's all theater. It doesn't feel like theater yet, but eventually all email will be theater. It doesn't feel like that yet to you, and I get it, but it will be. All email, because I hear people still now like, well, I do this thing, but I still got to read all the emails. Okay, well then, you've never trained an assistant to read your emails. Why? The whole point of this, like, we don't show up to work to do theater. Life's too short. Yes, we need to make money. We want to have income. We want to have an impact, but we want to have fun. And that fun is a part of, like, growing humans and developing humans. And if your vision isn't tuned to your own sense of purpose and mission, you're lost. But at a general level, your own sense of purpose and mission has to be connected to, I am developing and growing humans. Like, that's the whole point. You know, in our world at SiteShift, it's leaders developing leaders who develop leaders. Like, that's the game. That's what's fun. It's fun to lead people to freedom. It's fun to lead people to a sense of laser-focused mission. It's fun to lead people into a place that they can go build communities and teams and reconstitute missions and organizations and whatever. That's fun. That's messy. That's hard. It takes more time. And frankly, you know, once you see the power of this, you're going to have to get really locked in on your own personal sense of mission. Because then you're going to sit with Bill, who didn't get that report turned in, and your AI remembers it and never forgets it, but you forgive Bill. And you go, you said you would do it and you didn't get it done. And Bill goes, that was a failure on my part and I'm sorry, if he's a good leader. And you go, Bill, I forgive you. How can I support you so this never happens again? That is transformational. That's what adds quality and meaning to your life. Not getting the slide deck done, not getting the emails done. And all that's going to go away. And AI is going to do it better anyway. It's not only going to go away, it's just going to do it better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we have to get great at the human part.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Which is harder.
Which is way harder. Oh, man. I mean, it'd be way easier to hide behind your computer all day.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is why most people do it.
Bingo.
Yeah. There's so much more that we can
I know.
cover.
You got to look at the watch because we got to be in the dose people can handle.
I know. I want to. There's so many places to go. Let me just hit this last one. So, in the way that we think about what's behind the model and the temptations that leaders, you, me, Chris, are going to face. There's 3 in particular that are going to excel on the best side. They're going to excel at being able to build community, build relationships, build this koinonia that the Greeks so well understood. And without awareness, moments of pressure, the temptation is going to come against them in such a way that they're going to want to shortcut this too.
Cut corners, baby.
Yeah.
It's what I did with the light. I was like, I don't want to put the light up. It'll be sunny. And then it got cloudy.
Yeah.
I wanted to cut a corner.
Yeah.
Because fast.
Right.
Fast, fast, fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to spend just a minute
Sure.
talking about the three that kind of undergird this?
Yeah, and I feel like I could talk about it forever, so I'm
know,
just going to hit the highest level.
It's unfair.
You know, I mean, for somebody who wants to be super useful and they build an identity around like quickest to discern and meet the need, the comprehensive view that the AI will have, you know, it's going to remember their birthdays and remember the things that are going on in their life and serve up ideas for you to meet their need and to give something and to get ahead on a project for them. And the insecurity or the temptation in this moment is going to be that you create the AI in your own image of insecurity, and it gets awesome at really meeting needs, not awesome at building systems that don't require you. Mm-hmm. So like if you have this wiring that you become this over-helping doormat, you really have to train your AI to build things that don't require you. And that's going to be hard because that's an antithesis to how you got here.
Because everything else we've been talking about is going to be easy.
Bingo. Exactly. I love that. We should just do a whole episode that's satirical. But the whole point of this is like, it's your job to know that and to not make the AI in your image. The second one would be this. You're going to be more armed with facts than ever before. Like I can go into any meeting now with more facts than I've ever had. I don't have to ask for it. Like my AI is trained. It just operates on systems. And so, you know, I can truthfully say I go into meetings. We have a meeting today. I think it's at 2:30 or 2 that I probably have more facts about that person's business than they actually can hold in their mind. Mm-hmm. I probably have more facts about their industry that they probably don't have the working memory to actually keep it all there. Because part of what got them to the point of being successful is they filtered out a lot. Do I know how to recognize the emotion of that moment and step into it? Like, there's a part of Chris who, because this shows up in my data, like facts, let's connect on the facts, emotions be what they are. And yet, it is the power of this human connection. We don't connect around facts, we connect around emotion. Or every movie you go watch, you would just read the script. You'd read the screenplay. That would be terrible. That movie wouldn't, it's just a scroll of the screenplay. It would never work. It's the story being lived out. It's the humanity. And the third temptation is, these things that we want to not admit. We all have a part of our story or our lives that there's something in us that if others knew that about us, we wouldn't be cast in the same light. We wouldn't be seen as powerful and self-directed and determined. And there's this thing about us that we would just prefer others not know. And AI is going to help you do the leadership game so well. You can show up so competent. And yet it is the human interaction of saying, this is a part of me I'd rather you not know in this moment. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it is a circumstance. Sometimes it's a motive. In our meeting last Monday, it was a follow-up to our meeting Monday where we met by Zoom for half an hour. And I was like, you went first. Props to you. You were like, here's my insecurity in this. And there was a little thing in me that I was like, all right, he said his. I have power over him. It was a 0.026 second moment. And I was like, no, I'm not going to stay in that place. here's my insecurity in this moment. And we shared those with each other. That may not even, you may not even remember it. It may not even be meaningful to you, but it was meaningful to me. And it was our relationship taking an even deeper step, right? That maybe we couldn't have imagined and discerned without that moment of openness.
Yeah.
Common unity.
Yeah. It's good.
Common unity. So those are the three temptations.
Yeah. It's good. Well, I'm gonna move us toward a couple ways that you can engage with this content, that you can learn more. As I do, you can be thinking about any last things to say. One of the ways that you can dial up your level of awareness on where AI is going to undercut you, where pressure in the moment is going to cause you to give in to a temptation or a default response. One of the ways I like to say it is, when your best is required, what is going to get in the way of your best showing up when it's most needed in those moments? One of the ways you can know is our IFQ. And by the way, so excited. By the time this episode is released and published, we will have a brand new report that accompanies the IFQ results. And big excitement, big props to the team to pull this off, and excited to get it out into the wild. But I would encourage you to go to taketheifq.com and just get a picture of whether you're using AI, whether you are developing children, nurturing a spouse at home, or around your own leadership table, where you are most likely to make a mistake under pressure. Get some visibility into that through the IFQ. Experience our brand new report. And you can do that all at taketheifq.com. It's really inexpensive, and depending on when this episode airs, it may still be on the tail end of free for you for a period of time, just to introduce the new report. But that's a way that you can get a snapshot of where you're most likely to get in your own way and not be at your best when your best is most needed. So that's one, taketheifq.com. The other one is back to the book. 3% Shift is the title. 3percentshift.com is also the page that you can go to learn more. It's on Amazon. Audiobook being recorded this week, coming soon. Both ways that you can just go deeper and take this ancient intelligence, the AI that really will change your life, and apply it to the AI that is on the cusp of a major disruption around the globe, and help you to be at your best, doing the things that only the human can do, and knowing where you're going to get in your own way. Okay, taketheifq.com, 3percentshift.com, two things for you to follow up on. Any last thoughts?
The criminals are going to get awesome at AI.
Well, for sure.
So why not secure leaders?
Why not secure leaders?
Boom.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being with us. As always, it's good to have you here. And we're going to keep going through this book. We got more teed up for next episode. Until then, we'll see you guys.